Hello again, everybody. For our next project, we're going to be working on an LED upgrade to the Colonial Marine Shoulder lamp. This particular kit is a Matsuo kit that carried D batteries inside the main housing and then ran up to a traditional bulb up into the head of the actual flashlight portion, the light portion. My bulb burnt out, and being the kind of guy I am, instead of just replacing the bulb, I thought, you know what, it's the modern day times here with LED lights. Let's not live in the past. Let's upgrade our situation. So I am not a particularly electrically inclined guy. One of the things I wanted to do is convert something else. I'm better at adapting than I am, I guess, electrical engineering from the ground up. So a couple ideas I had from a Sensible Products pocket light, just an LED pocket light. And I'm not sure how this will show up, but what it is it's rechargeable with a USB cable, and when you hold the button down, it actually gets brighter up to 500 lumens. When it flashes, you're at your top. And then it burns 2 hours with 500 lumens. When you hold it again, it dims down, and it flashes again at the bottom. That's 200 lumens. So 500 lumens will run at 2 hours. 200 lumens will run at 10 hours on one charge on this light. That is actually what I'm after, is something bright but not obscene or obnoxious. Face it, if you're running around a convention flashing 500 lumens at people, you're going to make more enemies than friends, I think. So, but 200 lumens on 10 hours on one charge, this is what I'm after. So I gutted one of these guys, took it completely apart, and got to the little money bits here. I'm not going to document the entire take apart section because I don't expect you to have this exact model, but you can find something similar is my point. You've got your rechargeable circuit board with an LED light, and then you've got your battery, because we're not going to be able to fit everything into this whole housing, especially since we're going to still want to incorporate the switch that is already in place, and we're also going to have to extend. Obviously, I can't really make a USB hole through this without it looking horrible. So what I've got is an extension of a micro USB that we're going to install in here. And then this end is going to run to a different part, and we're going to make this run somewhere discrete where we can recharge our light from there. So I am right now inclined to put all this, which is practically nothing, weighs nothing, into the main housing of the light. And then I'm going to snip these wires here to take the actual LED portion and just mount that in here. Probably even reuse this to some degree. Obviously the traditional things it came with are probably most effective. So I'm going to try to incorporate this into this to make something that is going to be insanely effective and bright but simple. So we're going to snip these wires, and we're going to route them using the original cables. This is the original cables that came with the traditional bulb. So I think we're going to run these into our LED and run the rest of the assembly down in here into the housing, and then I'll make the recharge cable pop out around here somewhere. So that's the goal, to give us something varied and extremely powerful and extremely long-lasting and reliable with very low power. No more changing D batteries. I'm going to reduce the weight on this thing, as the strain on your armor, on your shoulders, and I think it's going to overall be an excellent upgrade. Not necessarily the cheapest. I'm sure there's a lot of you tech guys out there who are telling me how cheap it is to just buy one of these little batteries and an LED and just do your own wiring. It can probably be done dirt cheap, but I'm going to be focusing more on easy with things that have already been engineered. All I got to do is solder the suckers together and drill a little hole. Alright, so I'm going to put the main board with the power and the, all that stuff in here with the battery in the main housing. Again, so much lighter than D batteries. I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to have to resolder these points. They kind of come loose. Cut one fell off. It's not important who cut what. The main thing is I need to have my outlet from there reaching somewhere indiscreet to the outside. And I'm going to epoxy this after drilling a hole right here so that it can go through there and be visible from the outside. And that's somewhere very indiscreet, somewhere where I can access it from the outside, plug in a micro USB cable, and recharge this battery. From there, I am then going to run this cable with these wires hooked into the positive and negative on my main board here. And it's going to run all the way up into my housing, which is where I am going to hit a switch. I'm going to hook it up into this switch with this LED in place. All this is going to go right over the top. It's all going to be wired in, and this is going to become my new primary bulb. Getting rid of the old antiquated guy, which was this assembly, which produced almost no light, killed D batteries like crazy, and was heavy as all hell. So massive upgrade across the board. Just going to wire those up, try to do my best to solder them in place, which is not my strength. Again, I am not an electrical guy, but I think it's going to work. Just hit this with the drill. Now I got to clean it up, make it fit up to our rectangular clean shape. And there we go. I got my holes cut out with just a basic utility knife on the resin. Got this guy stuffed in there. He's very snug. I am going to put glue on the other side, and then I will try to fill in the gaps and even paint over the top. Not, of course, in the charging port, but I'm going to try to blend that away even better. And so now we have got our foundation to get our battery and our circuit board hooked up. Alright, I don't know if this is obvious or if it will hold up, because I don't have everything glued down yet, but I have gone ahead and got my point here connected here. I use a lot of these little shrink wrap guys. Applying heat melts the solder in the middle. I'm not really very good at soldering myself, but I put a switch on it, and when I flip it, things get bright. That is victory. So basically I just got to jam this part into this housing, which should be easily done, and all this stuff's going to go down here where I've got my recharge bit hooked up to all this bit. I'm probably going to actually glue it just with some I don't know, something sort of semi permanent, not really truly permanent, because if the battery dies I'm going to want to replace it, and I need to be able to rip it out. So I'm probably going to use the E6000 glue that I've used in other videos, because it's really strong until you rip at it and then it comes out. So all this is wired up pretty good. Now I just got to get this little LED light mounted properly inside of this in that housing. Drop that E6000 into here to keep tension off the cable, and here to hopefully hold that in place, and here to hold that in place, and down underneath the battery. Hopefully none of it will rattle around and no wires will shake loose. That's the whole gist of it. I don't think I put anything anywhere where it should impede it electrically, and oh yeah, and of course I put some there. Should basically just hold everything down is the plan. Fingers crossed. And while that dries, I've gone ahead and re-soldered these points, because in my infinite wisdom, I soldered everything up without taking into account it having to fit through the hole in the housing. So I had to cut them and redo them, and they are once again working. You complete the circuit, so we're good to go. I just got to stuff it all in now, and with this coming up, this is going to be the first layer of the multi-tier system on these little things. And once I put the LED right there, I'm going to put a little electrical tape over the back. That'll hold it front and center. And we're going to glue them in place there, and then we're going to be all done. So, test fit, still good. I'm going to go ahead. This has dried a bit. If you missed this part, because I glanced over it and didn't mention it, I used the original reflector cup from the light bulb, and I jammed the bits from the flashlight for the LED right on to the back of it and glued it all into place. So now we are going to use a little bit of an electrical tape, and we are going to secure this to the inside of that, of the entire cup assembly. It's not a super snug fit. It's fairly loose actually, which is why I want to use the tape to put it on there. And we'll drop the first plate down onto our prongs. So now, there we go. I'm going to slap the rest on here, layer by layer, and we are going to be done with our shoulder lamp upgrade. And there we go. It's all slapped back together. It's all reduced weight, no D batteries floating around in there. Everything is rechargeable. Should get about 10 hours out of this light. Ready to rock. Not to mention it's just, in general, looks pretty slick. Very pretty. So, one upgraded shoulder lamp, functional and ready to roll right now. Alright, y'all have a good one. Subscribe if you're not already. I'm going to be doing a lot more props, things like this, upgrades to existing props, and a lot of new builds. So subscribe to the page. Have a good one.